Some of the scariest precursors to a downgrade in system behavior are the silent failures that add up over time. When a tool call gives an empty response and your agent decides to fill in the blank, that's not ingenuity, but it's the type of scenario that will eventually impact user experience. In this video, we'll see just how you can use Vega to detect an issue, pull all of your accessible telemetry data, then deliver the remediation steps and root cause analysis directly to your Slack channel. So let's get started. So here we have this agent that has been instrumented. It's a simple agent. It's already been instrumented to send its data to LaunchDarkly's observability backend. And from there, Vega is able to then pull that data and perform its root cause analysis. You'll also need to create a Slack channel to be able to receive your Vega notifications. And we'll get into that a little bit later, so don't worry about that. And if you miss anything in this video or something isn't as clear, I did write a blog taking you through all the steps. So feel free to check that out for sure for a little bit of reinforcement learning. All right, so now we're going to clone this repo to go ahead and get started. Okay, perfect. And now we want to make sure that our environment is set up properly. All right, so I need a CD into the project first, and then we can create our virtual environment. I'm going to source this. Now I will be using Anthropic as my model. You're free to use whatever model you choose, but I'm going to use Anthropic and I'm going to install all the dependencies that I need for this specific model. And then because we're sending all of our data to LaunchDarkly backend and we're instrumenting the AI agent using OpenTelemetry, so I'm going to install all of those packages. Give it some time. Okay, perfect. All right, so as you can see, it's a simple agent. We have it in our agent PY. And then also, let me just make sure. Okay, so I don't see a .env file, so I'm just going to create one. So then I'm going to add my API key for Anthropic and then also my SDA key for LaunchDarkly. So I'm going to add those environment variables here. Okay, so I'm going to fill those in, but you definitely want to create your .env file and then add your credentials in this file. All right, so I added my credentials, at least for Anthropic. I will need to create my new project in order to get my LaunchDarkly SDK key. So let's go to Slack and we'll need to make sure that we have LaunchDarkly account set up and it is tied to this specific Slack channel. So in the blog, I'll actually reference the blog here. So if we go to here, you'll be able to add your Slack directory and you can click allow. I already have this set up. Okay, so it said success, but I already have that set up. So once you do that, then you will copy this command, and these instructions are also on our docs page, so you can check that out. Paste that there. Perfect. So it's saying that it is logged in. And then you want to keep note of the name of your channel. So my channel is called Alexis Vega On Call Test. So you'll keep track of that name because you will use that when you create your alert. Okay, so let's go to projects. I'm going to create a new project. We'll call it Catching Silent Failures. Okay, you can call it whatever you want, but call it that. And then I'm going to copy this, or I'm going to go back here. I'm going to grab this command. And then I'm going to grab the project name here and replace it so that we can execute this command. Okay, add subscription. Now it's saying that we'll be able to receive notifications for everything matching this channel name. So that's great. I'm going to grab my SDK key. So I'm going to go to this project and let's grab our SDK key for, let's say, test. All right, so I added my SDK key. So we are good to go on that front. Now, if we go back here, we are adding a metric within our agent.py. And this specific metric is not just capturing the response, it's capturing the context around it. And that's very important when we talk about catching silent failures. And we're also adding this to our tool call handler. And this metric will give Vega a threshold to watch, and then your logs will continue, or your logs will give you the surrounding context of what's happening when that threshold was met or specifically breached. So if we go to Launch Darkly here, and we'll go to Alerts. Okay, you can create a new alert here. You can call it whatever you want. I'll call it AI Agent Empty Context Spike. Okay, so this is going to be for whenever our agent receives an empty response back from our tool calls, and that's going to let us know there was a problem, but we weren't able to sort of catch it from there. Okay, so we'll set our source to logs. And then for filters, we want to filter for empty context rate. And then we'll keep that at count. For our alert threshold type, we're going to keep that at constant. And then alert condition, that is going to be at above. All right, so now we're going to set the threshold to 0.15. And this is a rate. We'll keep the alert window at 30 minutes. And also the cooldown, we will keep that at 30 minutes as well. Now, here's the important part where we'll be adding our Slack channel so that we can be able to receive alerts. All right, so I can try searching for it. You know what, let me just go ahead and copy and paste that in. And here it is, Alexis Vega on-call test. And then I'm going to enable auto remediation. And this is just going to allow for Vega to run remediation automatically once the alert is triggered. I'm going to keep agent mode at investigate. And then also for the remediation cooldown, I'm going to make that to 1 day. And that's it. Now we can click save. And Vega is now watching for our alert to be triggered. Now we can come back and run our script. And this will hopefully trigger our Vega to run a remediation, and then for the Slack notification to be sent to the Slack channel that we attached to the alert. All right, so this is finished. Okay, perfect. So we waited for a second and we were able to check back to see whether or not we were going to get a notification. And we did. We got a notification from Vega. It's giving us basically a rundown of, hey, this is the project that you created and this is what I was watching for. And here are the results. So we can view the logs. Let me bring this over here. Okay. So if we view the logs, we're able to see where our specific metric was triggered. We're also able to configure our alert and then also view investigation. So that's what I want to view. I want to see exactly what happened. So let me bring this over. Awesome. So when I pressed that, it showed us exactly what happened. And it's giving us the root cause. So it's saying, hey, here's the root cause. We're getting empty results. And this is happening within your AI agent for your lookup order history. And then for this specific user, right? Another thing I want to point out is that it's using traces, logs, using all these things to be able to create this root cause analysis. And then it's going to give, what's really cool, it's going to give us a recommended next steps. What do we need to do to be able to fix this issue? And that's it. You were able to understand how you're able to use Vega to be able to diagnose silent AI failures and resolve them, receive remediation steps, and also take that a step further. So thanks for watching.